Now that we understand how to use string and integer data types, meaning these two right here, let's talk about two more data types, which are float and Boolean right here. And please note that you can also define data types as a list, which we will talk about later in the course in this level that you see right here. Now, in this current lecture, we're going to focus on floating point and Boolean. So let's kick it off with floating point, which is called float. And we know that an integer is a round number, like 1, 2, or 3. And if we go to Colab and we type this, pi equals 3.14, and then on the next line of code, we print pi. Here we go. And we run the code right here. We see 3.14. And we're getting a new data type here in Python called floating point, which means numbers that have decimal points. Now, earlier here in level 2, we checked the type of variables with the type function. Remember this, the type function. So let's do that here as well. So let's go here and let's type pi, and let's run this code right here. And as you can see, Python is reporting this as a float or floating number, meaning it has decimals. Now, if I were to put int up here and then run the code again, we see that it is an integer because it doesn't show any decimal points right here. Let me hit Control-Z to undo that. And if we run the code again here, whoops, right here, we'll see now it's back to float. And we're going to talk about rounding when we discuss the rounding function at this point in the course you see right here. Now, you could also type right here, if you wanted to, float. You don't have to, but if you type it here, Python will refer to that as float, and we'll get the exact same result as here. So when I run it, the exact same result. Let's now move on to Boolean, which is right here, another data type. So Boolean refers to true or false, which in the programming world can also be written as 0 or 1, because 1 always means true and 0 always means false when programming. And so let's type here, and let me just clear all of this out. Okay, so let's type here bool example equals true. There you go. Now, notice how I made the T in true uppercase. It has to be uppercase because lowercase true will result in an error. Okay, so let's print this now. Let's go print bool example. Okay, and let's run this code here. Okay, so it printed true because that's what we assign bool example to. All right, now let's see what type of data our variable called bool is. Okay, so let's do this. So I'm going to write here type bool example. I just hit tab to complete that. And then let me run this here. Okay, so it's Boolean type, as you see right here. It's smart enough to know that this here is Boolean right here. Okay, now on the first line, what we can also do if we wanted to, we don't have to, is we can type bool, B-O-O-L, similar to what we did before with integer and string. Okay, and we can play here, and we get the exact same result here. And we see right here that it's a Boolean data type. Now, let's replace this here with the number 1, and let's run the code. What do you think we'll get? All right, so if we run it, we get the same thing, because 1 means true. Let's now do it with 0. And if we run this, you can probably guess we're going to get false here, because 0 means false. And please remember that true and false, when you type them using Boolean, has to be in uppercase. Why is this important? Because with advanced programming that we'll do later in this course together, we might want to use true or false logic. One more thing before we wrap up this lecture. Notice how I used an underscore right here when I define the variable. You have to do that because if you remove it and you just have a space here, Python is going to get confused. And it already tells you it's confused right here. So if we play it, we're going to get an error. So please never put spaces in a variable. Let me change this back here to underscore and play it so we get rid of the error there.